All right, welcome to JasperActive Lesson 6, Learn 3, Using Table Styles. We'll first want to make sure we're in Office 2016, Microsoft Word 2016 Core. I'll click on that, and that takes me to my lesson selector. I click on Lesson 6, and Using Table Styles, third one down. You'll notice I didn't nail this one with 100%, so there's an X there. I've already done it, so I can click on Practice. You can redo any of the lessons by clicking Practice. I'll click on Continue, and then the lesson will pop up. I'm going to go back here and deselect the ones that I completed. All right. I'm on step 1. It says with the Saturday course schedule document open, which it is, I'm going to select row 1, column 1. So the easiest way is to position my cursor to the left of the cell so that I have a white cursor versus a black cursor. So I have a white cursor and I use my left mouse button, click once, and then it says make sure I'm on the Home tab, and I'm going to bump over here on the Home ribbon and click on the center. Alright, it's important to follow the directions closely because it asks you to click on this versus going Control E. This time it does want us to go Control B, so I'll use my left pinky finger and hold the Control key down, and I'll touch the B to bold it. And that will bold it, and then I'm going to use the font selector size and bump down to 20. I'm going to mark that as answered, and then I move on to apply a table style. So in this case it wants me to click on the right edge of the table and drag it approximately to the 6-inch mark. So I'm going to grab the right edge of the table, I click on the document someplace, and I kind of hover right over that line so I get a double-headed arrow. I'll make it a little larger here. And I'm going to hover right over the edge there, and I'm going to drag this over so that this pyramid right up in this area, that little white pyramid, is right on 6. You can see it bumps back and forth. That's it right there. Now notice how this third column is a little wider. That's what it's saying here. It could be too wide. So the next 2 steps will ask us to adjust the other 2 columns. So I notice I have 1, 2, 3 things exposed here. Oh, and by the way, if you don't have the ruler exposed, don't forget to click on View and click on Ruler. Alright, so it's asking us to bump this over by a 1/2 inch. So I have 1, 2, 3 things exposed here. I'm going to come down and grab this column line right here, and I'm going to bump this over so that I have 1, 2, 3 things exposed, 3 marks, and just a little bit more. That's going to be a 1/2 inch over. And the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to select the second column, and I'm going to bump this over by a 1/2 inch. So I have 1, 2, 3 things exposed here, 3 marks. So I'm going to bump this over 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more. Okay, so under the table tools, okay, so it says to click Design tab, and okay, so under the table tools right up here I click on the Design tab, and then I click on the Table Styles group and the More button. So the More button is kind of hidden right up in here. I'm going to click on the More button. Okay, and then it says to ensure there are no previous styles that could be that could change the table style, click Clear. So make sure you're in the table someplace. Click on Design and then click on More, and you're going to go down to Clear. Alright, so there we go. That removes all the grid there. And then it says to select the Table Styles gallery again, and I'm going to click here on More, and it says to go to Grid Table 4, Accent 2 to apply the style. Okay, So that takes care of that step. I'm going to mark that as answered. Then I'm going to go to the next step. Now try making some adjustments to a longer form. So I'm going to go to File, Open. I have to click twice, once to activate Word and change the focus, and then I'm going to go to Open, and I click on Browse, and I navigate to my JasperActive folder. I'm going to click on Resource Files. Remember, all the forms and files that you may need are always in the resource file, and then we save everything in My Projects if we have to save anything. There we go. So that is open. Next step, I'm going to apply a table style. It says, with the cursor on the application for employment title, okay, so I've clicked there, right in that area. I'm going to click on the Layout tab up here, and then I'm going to click on Repeat Row Headers, okay, and that's in the data group. So I look over data here, and it's Repeat Row Headers, okay. Now it asks us to scroll, so I can just use my roller button, and what they want to do is see that application for employment is at the top of the next page, which it is. It was not there before. So that has taken care of that second step. It says now apply a table style, so you can observe how the table's style formatting attributes can change any formatting that may exist in the original document. So I'm going to still make sure that I'm up here in the title, and it says under Table Tools, click on Design, Table Tools, I click on Design, and then I click on More to display the gallery. Now it asks me to point to different ones here to see how it may affect the table design. Okay, so I'm going to click here and hover. For some reason it's not applying it, but we're going to just bump right to step 5, and step 5 says click on Grid Table 1 Light. Okay, Grid Table 1 Light. Okay, click on that. Accent 3, is that correct? Let's double check. Grid Table 1 Accent 2, Accent 3, there we go. That's the correct one. Alright, notice how the spacing between the rows is tight. So rows are these here. Notice how they're pretty tight. Well, we've noticed that. Let's bump up to the next step, down to the next step. Here we go. So click on the More button. So again, we want to just make sure that we're in the table someplace, doesn't matter where. And then we're going to click on the Format button. Okay, let's go back. Click on the More button again, and we're going to click on Modify Table Style. And then we're going to click on the Format button, and it says to go to Paragraph. I go to Paragraph, and then I'm going to change the spacing before to 3 point. So I use the up arrow here, and I want to make this, well, it jumps to 6 to 3, so I'm going to put in a 3. So I highlight the 6 and I touch the number 3, and then I click on OK and OK. Alright, that adds a little space between these paragraphs, between the rows, just a little bit. So it's got a little bit of elbow room between them. Now it says to move to the beginning of the form, ensuring your cursor is on the first row, which we are. Then click the Layout tab under the Table Tools, Layout tab. And then it asks us to go to Data and then click on Repeat Header Rows. Okay, so we've done that. We'll mark that as complete. and I'm going to go ahead and click on Show Results, and let's see how I did on this one. Okay, there we go. Looks like we did a good job. Good luck with yours. Remember, you can repeat the video if you need to see it again. Good luck.